Hey, friend, welcome to My Strange Addiction. On this episode, Brittany Clarkson keeps changing the name of her podcast. I'm just kidding. You're listening to Meant to Bloom. That's right. If you've been around for a while, I previously hosted a podcast called Meant to Bloom. And then I relaunched a podcast called I Get To, the podcast with Brittany Clarkson. And I have since decided to take back the name Meant to Bloom. The old episodes have been archived. It's gone, the old podcast. I have decided to let it go. In this season of change, I'm ready to be done with the old and fully embracing the new with the name Meant to Bloom, which is my business name. The name's here to stay. I just had a different vision for what Meant to Bloom would look like. And I'm realizing that vision is even bigger and slightly different than what I had thought it was going to be. And I am just very excited to reintroduce my podcast as Meant to Bloom. It's here to stay. And I'm really glad you're here with me, friend. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for always accepting when I change things up. Got to keep it interesting, right? So, are you ready for a season of change? For as long as I can remember, they've been telling us to enjoy it while they're young. But our days are filled with chaos and stress and cooking and endless laundry piles. Where's the time to enjoy it? Yeah, that's what I always thought too. There's so much I have to do. When do I find time for peace and joy and happiness when I barely have time to sleep? Mama, it's time to make shift happen. You can be a happy mom. If I can, you can. Trust me. I've been a mess. I've been depressed. I've been overwhelmed. I've been to the bottom of the pits and I've risen. I've grown. I've bloomed. And it all started when I realized I didn't have to anything. I get to. It is my privilege and my honor and my divine responsibility to be the queen of my home. It's not a burden. I'm not a burden. I'm in charge. I'm the ruler. I'm the chaos coordinator. I'm the calm in the storm. And so are you. Come with me. Let's rise, mamas. Adjust your crown. Accept your responsibility. Change the effing world together. It's all in the way we choose to see it. I'm so glad you're here, friend. You're listening to Meant to Bloom with Brittany Clarkson. It's finally fall. The leaves are changing. The season is shifting. We have cool, crisp mornings, and I'm pretty sure all of the 85 and above days are behind us in the Pacific Northwest. It's October. It's finally pumpkin spice season, like undoubtedly, right? Some of us have been in it for a couple weeks already, right? Yes, seasons are changing. But that always gets me thinking. Every fall, as the earth shifts into a new season, as nature shifts into a new season, I have to question, am I shifting into a new season? There is a time for everything under the sun. A time to dance, a time to mourn. I don't have the whole thing memorized. That's the only part I know. But there's a time for everything, a season for everything. Okay? And as mamas, I think we forget that we go through seasons. I think everything changes and then we just kind of get stuck thinking that's the new normal. But it's not. You know, we get a newborn and everything changes. And we go into like survival mode. We must protect the baby. We must feed the baby. We must change the baby. And somewhere in all of that, we need to find time to shower because, oh my goodness, we need time to shower. And I think we forget to come out of that survival mode and to start living life again. I think maybe that's how we lose our identity in motherhood so often, is that we just get blinded to everything when it gets overwhelming and stressful. And we get hyper focused on all the things that need to get done instead of focusing on what's actually important. And we get comfortable in our survival mode because we stay there for so long that that's all we know at some point, right? And at some point, you go from being a postpartum mother to a newborn, and then you accidentally shift into just being a hot mess, right? And I know there's a lot of camaraderie in being a hot mess. It just feels like that's what's expected. Maybe if you set the bar low enough, no one will ever be disappointed. I had a lot of reasons for being a hot mess. Okay. And I'm going to say I don't have my whole life together, but I did go from hot mess to happy mom. I don't think you can really identify as both um, unless your view of hot mess is different than mine. Because to me, being a hot mess means that, like, internally, I am also falling apart, and that's showing up externally in me not caring for myself, looking disheveled, looking homeless, looking like a mess. And then being a mess is in I can't keep any area of my house clean. My car is full of trash and mess. And it's been a long time since I've taken time to care for myself. Um, to me, that's a hot mess. Your marriage is not thriving when you're a hot mess. You're yelling at your kids when you're a hot mess. You are just triggered by everything when you are a hot mess. I mean, some of us might think of the hot mess mom style, where it's like the messy bun, the flannels, the leggings. That's not hot mess to me. That's just fun mom style. Because I am currently recording this messy bun, flannel, leggings. I'm not ripping on that style choice at all. That is my style choice. But to me, being a hot mess is not an okay place to stay because when you are a hot mess, you are mentally unwell. If your definition of hot mess is different than mine, then disregard everything I've said about being a hot mess. But in this episode, I want to talk about the seasons of change and shifting intentionally into the next season. All right. We get comfortable in that survival mode and then we wonder why it's not working for us anymore. It's because survival mode is not a long term solution. That is meant to be temporary. At some point, you're supposed to go from surviving into thriving. You're supposed to get your legs back underneath you and figure out this new normal. But the thing is, life is change. Everything around you is constantly changing. And it's when we don't go with the change, we don't grow in the change, that we end up feeling stuck and we end up feeling behind and we end up feeling like a mess and we end up just feeling overwhelmed. And it's because you forgot to change with the season. You forgot to evaluate where you are and where you want to be. You forgot to set your intentions and take intentional action towards them. And that's okay. We don't need to feel guilt over where you are right now. It's okay if you feel behind. It's okay if you didn't shift with the change. It's okay if this is the first time you're ever hearing any of this. It's okay if you've heard this a million times and still chosen to stay where you felt comfortable. That's okay. I'm not going to advise you stay there. I'm going to encourage you to get up and get moving. But it's okay. You don't need to feel bad about where you are. That doesn't help anything. Feeling guilt over where you are is not going to get you where you want to go. It's just going to keep you stuck in a mental cycle of feeling guilt over where you are. Guilt does not lead to growth. It leads to more guilt. Okay? So something's got to change when you make this realization. And it is time for you to wake up, mama. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So as the leaves are changing outside, as you're swapping your summer wardrobe into a closet filled with sweaters, because it's sweater weather, it's time to take inventory of your days. Are you living the life you want? Because right now, shifting into fall is the perfect time for change. It's the perfect time to realign with what you want out of life. It's the perfect time to change your days. Your kids are back in school, you're getting new rhythms. It's the perfect time to make the big adjustments. Don't wait for New Year's. New Year's is a silly time to do it. You're exhausted and full of stuffing from the holidays. Do it now. October. All the leaves are shedding what's not working for them anymore. The trees are shedding their leaves. It's time to shed your leaves. Okay? And here's the thing. Here's the thing when you see the trees. When they shed their leaves, that's when they're doing all of their work. You just don't see it until spring when they bloom. But in the fall, all the trees that shed their leaves, they're getting rid of what's not working anymore. They're taking it off, stripping it down, and then they're building those new seeds inside. All the new little leaflets. All winter long, those little leaflets are developing inside. And then in the spring, that's the easy part when they just open up and bloom. And it's like, ta-da! Look what I've been working on in secret. You didn't see it before, but I put in a lot of work. And now here I am. So right now in the fall is when you start preparing for the spring. Okay? So what's my favorite quote by Luna Levette? It's take care, dear heart. You are blooming and spring is coming. Okay? To get to that bloom, you've got to go dormant. And before you go dormant and do that internal work, you've got to shake off what's not working. It's time for a season of change. Pay attention. Where are your dead leaves? Let them fall. Quit stapling them back on the tree. Let the leaves fall. Let yourself go into a personal autumn. Do the inner work. And see where you are 6 months from now. Okay? And I have the perfect solution right now. I have the perfect thing for you. If you're loving my podcast, if you're loving listening to I Get To, if you like hearing my voice for some reason, if you like what I have to say and it resonates with you and it aligns with how you want to be living your life, and I see you coming back. I see you coming back and listening to episode after episode. I see the numbers of who's reading my blog, who's keeping up with what I have to say. I know you're listening. I know you're watching. And it's time for you to do something that involves you taking some big action. Okay, right now, enrollment for the Happy Mom Method is open. If you're listening to this episode when it drops, the week it drops, Happy Mom Method course is open for enrollment. And this is how you will transform your view of your mom life. We're going to unblock your joy and learn to love the home you've got. Okay, it sounds like a lot and it's all so in alignment. And it's everything I teach crammed into one with lots of bite-size lessons and some in-depth lessons and homework. And it's designed to guide you on this transformation of a loving your mom life. Okay? And even if you're not a mom, there's so much in there. There's so much in there. Like, there's so much in there for you anyway. All right, and enrollment for this is open until October 11th, and then it's going to close. And pre-sale will be gone. The $99 pre-sale promo price will be gone. This is the lowest it will ever be. Okay, it's not going to go lower than 99 bucks. I can almost guarantee that forever. And what happens when you get in to this pre-sale launch round is you're going to be put into a private Facebook group with me and everyone else who's in the launch. And we get to work together to unblock your joy and love your home. You get to help me build the lessons that you need. Okay, I've already got the outline. I know where it's going. But if there's extra stuff that needs to get added in here for you, you'll get to have your input. You'll get to say, hey, this is really awesome, but I need more help with this thing. And if it's something I can't help with, do you know how many friends I have in the online space who are also creators whose whole purpose is to help moms with their mom life, to make it simple, to build your confidence, to overcome your stress. I've got a lot of mom friends that if I need to get them in on the course too, I can absolutely get you whatever help you need in the mom life area here. Okay? So that is $99 for the pre-sale promo price that will be going away. It will be closing on October 11th, and it won't open again until most or all of the course is complete. And at that point, the price is going to be full price, which is more than double that $99 promo price. So if you want in on this, now is the time. We are in fall. It is time to make those changes, time to start the inner work so you can bloom in the spring, see where you are 6 months from now. Can you envision the sunlight breaking through the clouds as all the flowers are beginning to bloom and you love your life? Can you envision walking through a garden that is blooming in the spring and you feel like you are also blooming because you put in the work in the fall, because you wintered, because you did the work you needed to do to shed the parts that aren't working and to realign and to design the life you know you're meant to be living? Friend, let's do this. Signups are in the description below. I can't wait to see you in there. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Meant to Bloom. It really does mean the world to me. But are you ready to take this a step farther? Check out the description below of this episode and grab your mindset makeover. It's totally free, my gift to you. Then hop on Instagram and let me know what you thought of this episode. Tag me at Britt Clarkson. That's BritClarkson. If any part of this resonated with you, please let me know by tagging me or leave a review and share on social media so other mamas can find this too. If it helped you, it's going to help someone else. You're part of a movement now. Let's go.